Mr. Long Walk Short Dock,
Hi.
Mr. Dave King,
How do you do?
here with me. It's just systematic.
Cheers.
All right, so I've seen a lot of your shows. I've been captivated by your stage presence.
Thank you very much. I
You
glad
have
you appreciate it.
more energy than I have seen with anybody that I've ever seen.
Well,
Okay, so
it's a living.
so tell me about how important it is for you to like interact and have that that presence along with your performance.
I think it kind of started off a long time ago as me being really nervous, and I wasn't sure if the material I was playing was necessarily gonna work. So I would get kind of like clenched up about it. But as a like party kid growing up, I was always the one like, if I get access to the stereo and just play a couple of songs, I'd always be the one like freaking out at a high school party or something like that. And I don't know, I get a lot of kind of natural adrenaline rushes off of music that I really connect with. And if you write it yourself, obviously you kind of made it to kind of do that, at least to the best of your ability. So I think the kind of excitement of writing the stuff and being able to share it with people, mixed with kind of some nervous energy, creates the like the go hard performance, if you will.
So do you like? I get a sense that you really like to connect with your audience. Do you feed a lot off of them, and like, does that affect your performance at all, or do you just kind of just do your thing and
Well,
how does that work?
It definitely affects it. I mean, you can't totally rely on it, because I've had times where I'll throw stuff at people and be like, "Hey, is everyone having a good time?" Then it'll be like crickets, and nothing happening. And it's just kind of like, okay, let's the next one. That happens sometimes. But if you do throw it out there and an audience that's into it gives it back to you, I mean, you can't help but feel pretty excited about that, and kind of share with it. That's something that I always tell people that ask like advice about, oh, I'm starting out, what do you recommend, blah blah. Just have a microphone. Like if you're gonna like, I sing a bit, but not necessarily even just for singing. Like, have a microphone just to say dumb stuff that comes to your mind, or to kind of just check in with people, or tell a funny story or something that pops in your head. Having that level of interaction makes you a lot more accessible as a person, and instead of some performers feel almost inaccessible because they're like, oh, this guy's doing a show, you can't talk to him, but it's kind of fun. Like, yeah, look at that guy, he's wearing a fun costume. Yeah, that guy. You can get people on your side doing stuff like that. So, at least in my experience, I've had a lot of fun. It's more fun to be able to talk to people than not be able to. Put it that way.
Yeah. So this is a very personal show that you just played. For a lot of people, it's a smaller show than you're used to.
Oh well,
And,
every show is the same. I mean, my end of it is from an audience perspective, the show will be exactly the same whether there's one person in here or whether it's like crammed to the rafters. For me, it doesn't really matter if people have shown up and taken the effort to come and check it out. That's enough for me to just do the show as the way I would like to do it. I've played many big empty rooms in the past, and the show is exactly the same. It doesn't bother me. I mean, obviously it's more.
Like that?
I mean, it gets to you a bit, but the people that did show up, like, each person matters on an individual level, So if they're here, they're still out kind of kicking it and having a great time, you have to do it for that one individual, even if they're the only one in the room. If the place is packed, then no problem, but you can't just kind of give up and be like, oh, there's not that many people here. It's not professional, in my opinion. So I don't know.
So tell me about some of your bigger performances and your bigger, your more intimate performances personally. Like, tell me about some of those.
Probably the biggest shows I ever play are definitely at Thursday night at Shambhala, which is a nerve-wracking experience for me, but also equally enjoyable. Like, I kind of sweat bullets about that one all year and try to come up with something crazy to do every year. But I mean, the hours leading up to that, I am probably the most terrified I've been in my entire life. But once the show gets rolling and people are there, they've been on the farm for a couple days already, and they're ready to go. So on Thursday, it's a real honor to kind of kick off the party in a way, and people get pretty excited about it, and I get really excited about it, and when you get like this reciprocating ping pong back and forth thing, that's when I usually feel the most excited about shows. Yeah. So those are definitely the biggest shows that I've ever done. So thanks, Jean Villa, for having me.
So, this show, it was a pleasure to have you at the college. That's huge.
My pleasure to be here. I've been meaning to get down here for a while. So thanks, Jordan.
So, tell me about how this show in particular, like, does this differ from anything, or like, have you played a similar show, a college show like this before?
I played at I played at UBC once before. It was kind of similar vibe to that, I guess, but I mean, I'm not really. If people are willing to have me do the show anywhere, I'll come and do it. It doesn't matter if it's like a big show, a small show, big place, small place, house party. It doesn't matter. If people are willing to listen to the stuff that I spend a lot of time working on and creating, that's enough for me to come and check it out in most cases. So I'm just pretty happy to play a new place, really. Like, playing a new city is always my favorite, and you can kind of feel it out. I lost some people initially tonight. It was like, hey, what's going on? And they're like, it's not for me. Long Walk is not for everybody. Yeah. But for the people that it is for, they get pretty excited about it. And God love you if you're one of those people. I appreciate you putting up with me.
Okay, so you talked about a little bit of new music that you're putting out.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me a bit about that? Like, what's on the horizon? Like,
Sure.
What are you planning for the future?
Well, this is the last Long Walk show from the giant summer tour I've been doing since the end of April. I got one show next weekend with a side project called Sick Bay, and with my buddy Phil Western, we're gonna play at the Rifflandia Festival. Do all analog weird set, but it's very different music. It's a lot of stuff that he's written and that I've written. So a bit of a different tone, but that aside, the Long Walk end of it is done until December, January, when I'll be doing Alberta and BC again. And I'm taking that time off to finish some releases. And firstly though, I know people have been waiting for some new stuff for a long time. I'm very sorry, I've been on the road, I've been super busy, but to reward people's patience, first off, I'm going to give a bunch of stuff away. So I've got some remixes that I can't really charge for and don't really want to, and I've got some golden oldies and some fun weird stuff. So I'm going to give that away first. You can watch the Facebook page for that if you just put facebook.com/longwalkshortdock. I'll be announcing that when those are mastered and ready to go. So those will be freebies, and then hot on the heels of that will be a next kind of EP or album. I don't know yet how many tunes are going to make it on there, but that's hopefully all going to happen within the next 2 or 3 months. And then hoping to do another release after that. And all this, the good thing about touring a lot is you get pressured into writing a lot of new material. So I'm sitting on a ton of shit right now, but I got to get it finalized and let people have it. It's no good just on my computers. It's supposed to be on everyone's computer.
So you said, you mentioned that you're working side projects and stuff like that with a collaboration of a bunch of other performers.
I've got a couple different ones on the go, yeah.
So what kind of part are you playing in that collaboration with? Because you're very solo, you do your own thing. So that's interesting to see you do something like that, collaboration with a bunch of other performers like that. So tell me about what your place is in that.
I'll give you the rundown. There's a couple of them. One's called Hibernator, and that's me and my buddy Tim Hill, who's also my normal visuals guy. When we can get him up the shows, and we wear bear costumes, and the MIDI data comes from my machine, but all the sound source is pure analog stuff from Moog synthesizers. So bunch of Moogs going through Eventide pedals, this very kind of drifty, ethereal, trippy stuff with bear costumes. The most recent one I started is this one called Sick Bay with my buddy Phil Western. I mentioned earlier we're going to play at Rifflandia. We're actually have the honor of opening up for the Orb, which I'm pretty stoked about. But we haven't finished writing the music yet, and it's in like a week, so that's why I got to drive back home tomorrow and figure this shit out. Yeah. And then another project I've got that's not electronic. It's a pet project for me, and definitely something I've always wanted to do my entire life. It's Final Fantasy music cover band. So we play the works of Nobuo Uematsu, one of my favorite composers of all time, and wear dumb Final Fantasy costumes and kind of play classic FF music. We haven't done a show yet, but we've been rehearsing for over a year now. We're just waiting. We're almost ready. There's so much material. It's a lot of fun. But so yeah, it's kind of we want to do it justice on the one end of playing it the way that you've heard it and the way that you know it, and then all that music is made to loop, right? So play it the first time through as you would expect it, and then kind of second or third time through have a bit of a style change, put our kind of own little touch on it, So we're pretty excited about that. That one's called Megalixir.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
you got the
Final
reference.
Fantasy.
Yeah. That's like the ultimate item in FF games. So.
Get some questions. So also, who are some of your there's a electronic music is a huge growing, massively growing, exponentially growing
Especially
movement.
nowadays, yeah.
Yeah, moving, especially nowadays, for sure. Who are some of your personal favorite, movement, oriented DJs out there, or groups, or whatever?
Or producers.
Producers, yeah. What really inspires you to keep pushing and keep moving forward?
Ultimately, I still have to go with my classic favorite is Aphex Twin. I'm a massive Aphex fan, unbelievably huge Aphex fan, and I mean, we've been waiting a long time for some new stuff for him. He's got a lot of side projects and this and that, and I love all those just as much. You can always tell it has this it's just the right amount of cool programming, forward-thinking sounds and this and that, but also there's this bit of heart in there that's hard to describe. It just kind of melts you a bit. I fucking love it. Sorry. I love Aphex Twin. I love Aphex so much. He's definitely one of my favorites. Most of the Warp Records crew is definitely my main influences in electronic land, like your Square Pushers and Autechras of the world. And they've got some great new stuff like Flying Lotus, stuff like that. He's doing very, very well right now. Who else have I gotten in? Well, I mean, electronic is one thing, but I was always a band guy,
Yeah. You grew up with metal music.
Yeah, a lot of metal and a lot of indie rock stuff. The only problem I have with playing the show tonight is that I missed Deer Hunter in Vancouver to come out and do it. I love Deer Hunter. I've never seen them before. I'm sorry I wanted to be there, but
Next time.
Yeah, next time around, I'll check them out.
For sure. Well, it was a pleasure, man.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to see you, man. To see you perform here. It definitely meant a lot to a lot of people.
No, it meant a lot to me. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, and I'm sure I will see you many times in the future.
Oh, that'd be great.
Just like the audience, they will see you many times in the future.
Well, I hope so. It's a small niche, basement operation, and I have full appreciation for anyone that comes and checks it out. So thank you if you ever come to a show. Appreciate it.